My name is Vladimir, and I welcome you to the channel 2 Wars. Surely many of you have heard about Army Group Center, South, or North in history lessons or documentary videos. The name itself makes it clear that we are talking about large masses of troops assembled into army groups. In this video, I want to explain what these groups were made of, what objectives were set for them, and why the leadership of the Wehrmacht chose to use such a division. Sit back comfortably to hear the answers to these questions. In 1812, the capital of Russia was Petersburg, not Moscow. Nevertheless, Napoleon led his 1,000-strong army towards Moscow through Smolensk. He achieved his goal, but still lost the war. Hitler's strategies had more global plans for invasion. They struck at several key directions simultaneously. The main objective, as with Napoleon, was Moscow. But at the same time as this main strike, an offensive was also being conducted through the Baltics towards Leningrad and through Ukraine towards Rostov, as well as towards the northern seaports of the USSR, Murmansk and Arkhangelsk. To implement the Barbarossa plan, by June 22, 1941, 4 army groups were created, totaling 157 divisions and 12 brigades. Considering the strategic reserve, the invasion forces initially consisted of 183 divisions and 13 brigades. The most powerful strike group was Army Group Center. As of June 22, 1941, the total strength of this group was 1,453,000 soldiers and officers from the 4th and 9th Armies, as well as the 2nd and 3rd Panzer Groups. A total of 50 divisions, including 9 tank divisions and 6 motorized divisions, as well as 1 brigade. Their offensive was supported from the air by the 2nd Air Fleet of the Luftwaffe, 1,680 combat aircraft. Army Group Center advanced from the territory of Poland with the goal of defeating the Soviet forces in Belarus, after which it aimed to advance through Smolensk towards Moscow. Adjustments were made to this initial plan on July 30, 1941, when Hitler decided to suspend the offensive towards Moscow and redirect Guderian's tank group to Kiev. After that, Army Group Center transitioned to defense, and after the fighting for Kiev ended on September 30th, it resumed the offensive towards the capital of the USSR. The commander of Army Group Center was Field Marshal Fedor von Bock. He was removed from this position in December 1941 after the final failure of the offensive towards Moscow. And before moving on to list the other army groups, I ask you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. The second most powerful was Army Group South, commanded by Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt. Romanian troops were also under its operational command. It occupied a wide front from Lublin to the mouth of the Danube, including the 6th, 11th, and 17th German armies and the 4th Romanian Army. The 1st tank group consisted of a total of 57 divisions, including 9 tank and motorized divisions, and 9 brigades, including 2 motorized brigades. The offensive was supported by the 4th Air Fleet of the Luftwaffe, which consisted of approximately 800 combat aircraft, and the Romanian Air Force, which had 500 aircraft. Army Group South was tasked with destroying the Soviet forces in right bank Ukraine, after which it would advance east of the Dnieper. Together with the Romanian forces, the strength of this strike group was even higher than that of the most powerful Army Group Center, 1,556,000 people. At the initial stage of Operation Barbarossa, Army Group South achieved impressive successes in its offensive through Ukraine, inflicting a series of major defeats on the Soviet troops. But already in November-December 1941, the advance of this German strike group came to a standstill. Von Rundstedt, like von Bock, also lost his position in December 1941. The 3rd Army Group, North, invaded the Soviet Union from the territory of East Prussia. It included the 16th and 18th Armies and the 4th Tank Group, a total of 29 divisions, including 3 tank and 3 motorized divisions. The total number of personnel is approximately 800,000 people. The offensive was supported in the air by the 1st Air Fleet of the Luftwaffe, which had about 1,000 combat aircraft. The task of Army Group North was to defeat the Soviet forces in the Baltic region, capture the Soviet ports on the Baltic Sea, and take the city of Leningrad. The Army Group North was commanded by Field Marshal Wilhelm von Lied until January 1942. The operational successes of all German army groups were achieved only at the cost of significant losses. By the end of 1941, a considerable portion of the most experienced and valuable military personnel had been wiped out. The German-Finnish group of troops, commanded by Field Marshal Carl Gustav Emil Mannerheim, advanced from the territory of Finland towards Leningrad, Karelia, Murmansk, and Arkhangelsk. This group of troops included the German army from Norway and 2 Finnish armies, totaling 20 divisions, including 1 motorized division and 3 brigades. All invasion forces had a large number of communication units, which allowed them to maintain high command ability, combat readiness, and effective interaction with one another. The striking power of the advancing formations was enhanced by a clear organization of logistical support. This was managed by auxiliary paramilitary formations, the Shkura Transport Corps, the TOD organization, the National Socialist Motor Corps, and the Imperial Labor Service. They carried out tasks related to logistical, technical, and engineering support for the Wehrmacht. By the way, there were many volunteers from Western and Eastern European countries who were not formally at war with the USSR. So why did the Wehrmacht command divide its forces into army groups in the Barbarossa Plan, thereby dispersing them? There are several reasons for this. Firstly, the German command planned to quickly conclude the campaign in the Soviet Union and swiftly capture key hubs and cities. This was very much in the spirit of Blitzkrieg. Secondly, such a strike would seriously undermine the defensive capability of the Red Army. Soviet generals later admitted that they did not expect 3 strikes to occur simultaneously. Thirdly, all 3 directions were very important for victory. In the north, the Germans aimed to capture the crucial hub that was Leningrad and establish a unified front with the Finns. Capturing the capital would have enormous political and ideological significance. But in the south, there were oil fields that were important for the mechanized Wehrmacht. Overall, this military machine at that time was unmatched. It is no wonder that in Berlin, London, and Washington, there was no doubt that the Soviet Union would not withstand the pressure and would collapse within a few months. But of course, they miscalculated. What do you think? How correct was the decision for Germany to divide its army into 4 groups? Leave your opinion in the comments, like the video, and subscribe to my channel. All of this will greatly help its promotion.